Okay, welcome back to our channel, MegaWhale team. Thanks for tuning into another video. I hope everyone's having a great day. We're going to dive right into VRA today. We had a little poll on Twitter asking which coin you would like to see analyzed. We had an overwhelming response towards VRA. Obviously, the VRA community is quite strong, so we're going to dive right in. We're going to start with a market analysis talking about the support zones, resistance triggers, demand zones, and what is actually happening with the price right now. We're going to go through a technical analysis talking about the technicals, bring up a whole variety of different indicators, showing some price predictions, and talking about our actions and expectations. And we're going to go through a few community questions that were submitted in the previous videos. These ones are going to be popped up on screen now, so we can see from IOEC. I hope I pronounced that correctly. We got, can I ask, why do you prefer using a 3-day chart compared to a 1-day chart? So he's asking, why are different time frames almost important? So we're going to talk through that one. And then next we got, is there no bigger support between 36K and 30K on the Bitcoin chart? And we're going to talk about that one as well. Let's dive right into video. But before we get started, I want to bring your attention to the pinned comment down below. Head over, click read more, join our Twitter, join our Telegram, and if you want VIP, you can click the link there for more information. Let's dive right into the video. Okay, so we're going to start with a market analysis for VRA. We're going to quickly run through the major support and resistance zones, talk about our triggers, demand zones, and then talk about the recent price action. So our major zone on this chart for us to flip bullish is this gray box. And you'll notice that I do have an indicator just below it, because if we flip this gray box, we would have also flipped this downward sloping resistance. If that happens, we can expect a move upwards to 0.41. Until that happens, I would not be bullish. I would be waiting, I'd be very patient, I'd be expecting downward price action. We recently broke downwards out of a macro symmetrical triangle. This symmetrical triangle has been in formation for over 1 whole year, since April 2021. We had a huge overcorrection when the Bitcoin market and the crypto market exploded in November and December 2021. Since then, the price has retraced completely back into a symmetrical triangle, failing to hold support on the uptrending diagonal support line and rejecting downwards. We have even had a support resistance flip of this previous uptrending support line, now resistance. So remember, this support line was acting as support. It is now acting as resistance. We had a move to below and a rejection, confirming a support resistance flip. So the question is, where do we think the price is going to head from here? We're going to try and answer that one according to a market analysis first and foremost, and then we'll do a technical analysis later on in the video to confirm our hypothesis of where we think the price will head. So if you remember our last video, we were still within the wedge, and we said our most recent or most probable direction is a drop downwards to this line. That in fact happened. So this current red line is now also acting as a major resistance on the chart. We can see this acted as a huge resistance on the chart and a very major support on the chart on the 23rd of March, as well as the periods between the 28th of June to the 5th of August 2021. So we know that the price point of 0.0127 is a huge resistance that will suppress the price. We also know that this downward sloping or this upward sloping resistance is also acting as a huge resistance. So we got a lot of large resistance above us. Our next support line is all the way down over here, sitting at 0.00736. That is our most logical target. That is our most logical target. If Bitcoin goes to 30,000, we will see VRA retest this zone. If Bitcoin goes to 24,000, we will see VRA retest this major demand zone. We can take a measured move analysis from the top of the symmetrical triangle to the breakout point and apply that to our breakout or our support resistance flip, and we can see that indicates a move downwards into our demand zone. So on the short term, guys, VRA is not looking too good. It is looking, according to our market structures and our supports and resistances and our demand zones, it is looking bearish. It is very much in a downtrend. It is looking very much negative, and I wouldn't be expecting this to flip anytime soon. Let's just quickly talk about the bullish scenario. First and foremost, if the price manages to climb back into a symmetrical triangle and break this downward sloping resistance, as well as flip this demand zone, that will be the perfect entry for a move upwards to 0.41. Alternatively, if the price miraculously moves around, pushes back in, finds support, and then clears a previous high, you will be looking for an entry right over here. That could potentially take us up to that level there. So potential entries there, guys. As for bounces, I'm not concerned for catching any bounces. I'd be looking for bounces at these demand zones, but I would definitely not be looking to catch a falling knife between these demand zones. I just wanted to quickly take a bit of a moment to introduce Bitget. I wanted to quickly introduce my new favorite exchange, Bitget. Bitget is a non-KYC exchange, which is particularly beneficial for members in the UK and Australia who are limited by certain trade restrictions. Bitget has 250 plus spot trading pairs, as well as 60 plus leverage trading pairs, up to 125x leverage. Sign up now in the link in the description using our referral code to get up to $153 in rewards for completing 4 separate tasks. Let's go ahead and dive back into the video. So let's dive right into the technical analysis. We're going to do analysis of a variety of different indicators, then tell you our price predictions, then talk about actions and expectations, how you can act, what you should be doing, how you should be managing your funds during this period, particularly in reference to VRA only. So as always, we're going to start on the larger time frame, then move down to the small time frame. We'll do 7-day, 3-day, 1-day, and 4 hours. So starting off the Ichimoku cloud, we can see if something very terrible is occurring. We can see not only is the price below the clouds, below the baseline and conversion line, but our lagging span has officially lost not only this uptrending diagonal support, but it is also below the clouds, indicating that VRA is in a macro downtrend and has in fact been in a macro downtrend for quite some time. I would expect this trend to continue until the conversion line is flipped. So if the price moves up past the conversion line again, like we saw over here, we could have some sort of reversal on the macro time frame for VRA, but we already know this could take quite some time to occur, and it could definitely happen much lower down. The bull market support band is telling us a similar thing. We are in fact in a macro downtrend. Again, no potential for a move upwards or a significant move upwards to any highs until we flip the bull market support band. We have officially lost the Gaussian channel on the 7-day chart, indicating that we are pushing downwards here, and we can definitely push much further downwards here. Usually when the price enters the Gaussian channel, it is a very strong sign the price will end up on the downside of the Gaussian channel. We would need to wait for this Gaussian channel to turn red first for a prolonged period of time before pushing back into the Gaussian channel from the downside to make a push to the top side. Again, this could take some amount of time. It will not happen overnight, and this is indicating that we do have quite some time to move downwards, or at least consolidate before a move upwards. Our moving average for the 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, again, we are rejecting. We are underneath both, indicating we are in fact in that downtrend. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 3-day chart. So the 3-day chart is suggesting a similar thing with the moving averages. We do almost have this death cross incoming on the 3-day chart, with the 50 SMA moving down past that 200-day moving average. That is coming up in a few days' time. The Gaussian channel is suggesting a similar thing to what we just mentioned before. We are still very much underneath the red channel, and this can continue downwards as the price moves downwards with it until we push into it. I would like to see a break of that midline of the Gaussian channel before we suggest any potential move upwards. All right, moving on back to the Ichimoku cloud. Let's take a look. The Ichimoku cloud is suggesting exactly the same thing as what the 7-day chart is suggesting, and the bull market support band again is suggesting exactly the same thing what that 7-day chart is suggesting. We're going to go ahead and bring up the RSI as well on the 3-day and talk about the recent drop of this lower support. We are officially at the lowest price point we have been, or the lowest point we have been on the RSI chart before losing a major support line at 34.75, which we retested on a numerous amount of occasions around January and early February. So this can definitely head lower and break below that 30 level on RSI, indicating the price is in fact oversold, and I would actually expect that to occur here. I think on the 3-day chart, the RSI is definitely going to continue lower and head below 30, indicating an oversold territory, and your buy signal will be when the price either enters back above 30 or breaks back above that 34.75 on the RSI. So definitely keep an eye on that. We could expect some kind of move like that to occur when that happens. So keep an eye on the RSI, guys. All right, moving on to the 1-day chart. Let's take a look at what we can see. Ichimoku cloud starting off again, same thing, very much bearish, no signs of reversal yet. Same thing with the bull market support band, no signs of reversal, very much bearish. Gaussian channel indicating exactly the same thing, very much bearish. Again, we've had a very significant and very quick drop down in the last few hours. All these indicators are going to be more or less suggesting a similar thing, that the market is in fact in a very strong and very aggressive downtrend, and we need some significant buying pressure to flip this trend. Otherwise, we can expect lower levels. Let's take a look at our VPVR before we move on. So visible range volume profile is a great way of predicting where the price can potentially find support, as this indicates historical price points or price ranges where we have had significant or higher degrees of buying and selling in the past. So we can see over here that we recently lost our POC line, and because of that, we kind of went on a downtrend, concaving down below to this next peak. So usually we kind of look at it like this. It's like a mountain, and if you roll down the hill, you kind of build up bearish momentum as you roll down the hill before you hit a higher point and lose that momentum. That's kind of how I like to look at it. So we're currently losing a little bit of momentum because we have hit a bit of a support zone according to the VPVR right over here. So we're going to go ahead and just quickly adjust that by putting in a horizontal line, indicating that this zone that we are currently actually in is in fact not a horizontal level, but is in fact a horizontal range. So we are in a support range from here. This does change a lot of things because this can suggest that on the shorter time frame, we could see some sort of bounce from this level back upwards to potentially push upwards and retest any level between here and here before moving back down. So we're going to go ahead and test that and talk about that on the smaller time frame now, just to confirm whether or not that theory is actually viable. So let's go to a 4-hour time frame. And as always, we'll bring up our RSI to start with and our MACD to just have a look at the momentum, have a look at the strength of this trend before making any assumptions. So RSI is obviously not looking very good. Once again, we have lost this downward sloping or upward sloping resistance, which was one support. We are now very much in a downtrend heading back below 30. We can expect either a little bit of consolidation around this level, but of course, if we lose this green line, guys, we can expect an immediate push down. So looking at this green level sitting around 114, sorry, if we do lose that level, you can expect a major crash. Now, as long as we remain above this level, and if we push back above the red level, that would be a short-term entry signal for a potential push to about 113, 115, and up to this level again. So inputting our horizontal rays, we have 113, we have 115, and then we have up to that diagonal resistance. So the trigger for that would be breaking above that red line. That would trigger an entry long signal up to these targets. If we lose this level, however, we can expect a drop downwards to here. There will be no take profits along the way. We can expect a straight drop over a course of a few days or weeks towards that target. So guys, I hope that analysis kind of helps you with the overview of the market. It is looking very bearish. I hope you understand right now we are in a major support and resistance zone according to our analysis. We do have potential for downward and upward movement, but looking at the larger time frame, it is undoubtedly much more bearish and there's much more selling pressure than there is buying pressure. It is very unlikely for, even if we have a short-term swing upwards, for that short-term swing upwards to translate into a longer time frame or larger time frame move, which will result in a macro trend flipping. We also identified points of contention on the chart and areas of which we do need to break above for a bullish case scenario, although it is very unlikely. We then also identified reasons to why the price will drop, and we identified these major horizontal supports and resistances, as well as areas of demand on the chart where we think the price will be heading in the long term. So if you have any questions about that so far, leave them down in the comments. We're going to head over and do our community questions next. Let's go ahead and take a look at the second question, which is from Jan. He says, is there no bigger support between 36K and 30K? And he is referring to the Bitcoin chart. So let's take a look. So the volume profile is a great tool to use when it comes to identifying support and resistance zones. And we can see that these values, like we talked about in this video, indicate periods of where there is significant decrease in historical buying pressure, or a significant increase in historical buying pressure, or just trading volume as a whole. So we can see around this level, we have a very high degree of trading volume, buying and selling. We lost this level, and therefore the buying and selling volume historically decreased as the price decreases. We look for periods of which we have spikes to indicate potential bouncing points and potential support zones. And we do have these small areas of support and resistance throughout the chart over here, but we don't have any major levels, unfortunately. So major levels were indicative of these levels here. We had major levels around this level here, but downwards from here, we have no major levels. If we look back in the history of the chart, we haven't spent enough time within these price points to actually identify any major zones of contention. So although we have this increase or this period of large buying and selling pressure, or historic buying and selling volume, it is still slightly downtrending, meaning that we do have this slight downtrend pressure at our backs now ever since we lost this 38,800 level, indicating that we are going to push down to the next demand zone, and we can find demand zones based on where these huge wicks are if we look back on the daily, indicating that 30,000 psychological to 29,300 is that huge demand zone. So to state your question, do we have any major support zones between 36K and 30K? No. Do we have support zones? Yes. Are they big enough to influence the market into a huge significant rally and shoot us into an uptrend? No. Are they big enough to potentially see points of relief or bounces in the chart? Absolutely yes. So I hope that answers your question. Remember, if you have any questions or you'd like them submitted, leave them down in the comments below. I quickly want to end the video by showing you guys Crypto Academy. We have our Become a Trader course launching in 7 days from now. This course teaches you absolutely everything myself and Wolves of Crypto knows about crypto, about technical analysis. We've developed this course to be incredibly detailed yet incredibly digestible. So it starts from the absolute fundamentals, builds up to the absolute necessities when it comes to becoming a profitable trader, such as risk management, how to scale in and out of trades, and how to even find trades yourself. If you want more information, all you need to do is come to the website or contact us at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we hope to work with you soon.